If you want financial freedom, time freedom, and want to leave a legacy for generations to come, you probably have heard real estate investing is the place to do that. How do you get started? What do you have to do? When's the right time? If you are looking for those answers, you've come to the right place. My name is Kyle Stanley, and this is Fearless Flipping. My mission is to help you learn this business and conquer real estate investing. Hey, welcome into the show. We are going to have so much fun today with probably a new concept to you. I know it was new to me, and that's buying and selling land. You know, we've always thought about what's on the land, that real estate, and how it can make us money by putting tenants in it, by flipping it, by wholesaling it. But today, it's a little bit of a different concept. It's what is built underneath that real estate, and it's the land. Through the self-proclaimed land geek, Mark Podolsky, he is going to give you a concept that I truly believe can be done and can make you super niched in your market. So if you want to be niched in your market, you want to really have a tight pool of people that aren't getting hundreds of direct mail campaigns from people just like you, I think this is the thing for you. So make sure to listen in here as we learn from Mark and how he got involved with this, how he's earned as much as $5 million on one piece of land and has done over 5,000 deals with land. So let's go ahead and check out with the Land Geek. I've got a special place in my heart for this guy right here because he is calling in from Phoenix, Arizona, where I lived for 4 years. And although I don't miss the heat, I do miss the fun times over there. Mark Podolsky with Frontier Properties. How you doing, Mark?
Kyle Stanley, pulse is normal. Respiration's fine. The weather here is a nice balmy 110.
That's all? That's actually cool for Arizona.
No, I know. I've got a sweater in the back.
Well, we are with the Land Geek himself. As I don't know if that's self-proclaimed or proclaimed as someone else. We're going to find that out in a second here. But Mr. Land Geek, I got to know, what is your most interesting or weirdest real estate investing story?
Yeah, my favorite one is the one where I bought thousands of acres of raw land in Nevada from the railroad, subdivided it, and over 5 years made $5 million.
Over 5 years, $5 million. Okay, can you just like break that down for a second? How does that even happen? And like we're gonna obviously learn a lot about buying land in this episode and the next, but I really want to just, can you break that down in layman's terms?
Buy low, sell high.
Oh, okay. That's tough.
Yeah.
I like it.
So
like it.
yeah, so the company was a public company. They weren't interested in the raw land. They wanted the mineral rights. So we just went in, negotiated it at, $30 to $50 an acre, and we were selling it $500 to $600 an acre.
Wow, that's awesome. Very nice. So now I got to ask, where does Land Geek come from? Is that self-proclaimed?
Yeah, I mean, with a last name like Podolsky, no one's going to remember it, and having a face for radio, no one's going to remember it. So I figure out Land Geek. That's
at least you don't have a voice for newspaper.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but I'm really like an automation systems kind of geek. So I love software, and so it kind of just fits my personality. And I'm just kind of geeky.
There you go. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're making $5 million on a deal. I think I can handle that. So let's talk about your story here, Mark. You were in a different type of investments before real estate, but just bring our listeners and viewers up to date on your journey into where you're at now.
Yeah, so let's rewind to the year 2000, and at that point in time, I had a 45-minute commute to work and back. I was micromanaged. I had a high stress, soulless job as an investment banker. I worked with private equity groups, specializing in mergers and acquisitions in the middle market. And Kyle, I mean, it was so bad for me that I wouldn't get the Sunday blues anticipating Monday coming around. I'd get the Friday blues anticipating the weekend going by really fast and having to be back at work on Monday. So my firm hires this guy, and he tells me that as a side hustle, he's buying up raw land, pennies on the dollar, at these tax deed auctions. He's flipping them online, and he's making a 300% return on his investment. So, Kyle, I'm looking at companies all day long, and a great company has 15% EBITDA margins or free cash flow. Your average company is at 10%, and I'm looking at companies all day long less than 10%. So I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, the show me state. I don't believe him. So I've got $3,000 saved up for car repairs. We go to New Mexico. I do exactly what he says to do. I buy up 10 half-acre parcels at an average price of $300 each. I put them up online, and over the next 10 days, they all sell at an average price of over $1,200 each. It worked, 300%.
Wow.
So I took all that money. I went to another auction where I live near Arizona. And again, this is 2000. There's no one in the room. I'm buying up lots. I'm buying up acreage for nothing. And over the next 6 months, I sold up all that land and I made over 90 grand cash. So I go to my wife, who's pregnant. I say, honey, I want to quit my job and be a full-time land investor. And she says, absolutely not. So I said, okay. So I worked land investing on the side, and it took 18 months for the land investing income to exceed the investment banking income. And then I quit, and I've been doing it full-time ever since.
That's amazing. So a few things there that I want to touch on, and we're really like what I want to really get into right now, Mark, is why land. And you've already hit on it. I mean, 300% ROI. I'll take that any day of the week. But the next episode that you and I are going to dive into really the how, and that's what I'm really excited for. So, if you're watching right now, you're listening right now, let's really learn why. But then if you're excited and want to learn how, you got to make sure to tune in later this week and figure out exactly how to do it, because Mark is going to teach you. But you said 10 parcels sold in 10 days, and you made how much off of that?
300%, $1,200 each parcel.
Your net profit was $1,200 on each one.
Well, my gross was $1,200. So my
okay.
was $900.
That's still amazing. I mean, $9,000 essentially in 1 week or 10 days. I'll take that again any time of the day. So when it comes to like the land, why focus on land versus, everyone else in real estate that is really focusing on what's on the land, which is the piece of real estate?
Yeah. I mean, so if you come to my house, like you'd look at me and be like, Mark, you have no business owning a home. I'm the worst homeowner ever. I'm not interested in construction. I'm really not interested in any physical things. And so for me, the idea of shuffling paper and making money was really an interesting concept. And so I kind of look at this as a subscription model versus a real estate model, because when I walk you through the process, it's a one-time sale. We get recurring income every single month, but we don't have to deal with any renters, rehabs, renovations, or rodents. And as a result of not having to deal with any of those things, I also have a scalable model. So I can work it from anywhere in the world. I just need an inexpensive laptop and an internet connection and a virtual mailbox. So that piece is really interesting to me, because as my kids get older, I'd like to travel and work from anywhere in the world. The other interesting piece to me is that I'm not dealing with anything physical. It's a one-time sale. I get that recurring income just like you would with software, but it's an inefficient market. So there's literally almost no competition, but the competition that is there, it's very inefficient. So nobody really knows the value of their land, which is a difficult thing when you first start, because understanding comparable sales and getting to your pricing can be difficult and can be a little overwhelming to the newbie. But once you get your arms around it, you realize, holy cow, this is an inefficient market. We're really making the market. And then, so you've got low competition, and then the margins based on that inefficiency are massive, 300 to 1,000%. So when I look at it from a business perspective, I had a mentor, his name was Raj. He was an MBA and a chemical engineer. We'd always talk about what's the perfect business. And again, it had all these attributes: no physical inventory, one-time sale, recurring income, a built-in pain if you stopped making your payments, low competition, high margins. And we figured out that what we thought was at that time the best passive income model was life insurance, because it's just an idea. It's a one-time sale. It's just an idea. People need it, but it ain't no fun to sell. So I think the second best passive income model is raw land. And yes, you do need a little bit of capital to start, but it doesn't have to be your own. And using systems and automation, 90% of this business is automated. So I work 2 hours a week in Frontier Properties. And
Wow.
it's really total freedom because, yeah, you can be rich. We all know athletes, doctors, lawyers, they're rich. They don't have money problems. But what they do have is a time problem. So
Absolutely.
I'm really more interested in working when I want, where I want, and with whom I want, and having that passive income exceed my fixed expenses because I'm working because I want to, not because I have to. So total freedom to me is way more interesting than just making millions of dollars a year.
Absolutely. So I need to make sure all of our viewers are caught up and understand this concept because you keep talking about a one-time sale, but it keeps on paying you. Can you just break down that concept of how that's happening and how that works with the land?
Absolutely. So let's say, Kyle, and I was gonna walk you through the model the next episode, but
Absolutely.
let's just say, for example, that I've got a 10-acre parcel in Arizona, and it's $15,000. Well, you may not have $15,000, and let's say my cost on that parcel was $2,500. So what I'll ask you, Kyle, is how much can you put down? You say, oh, I can put 2,500 down. So I get my money out on the down payment or within 6 months of that down payment. And then we just make it a simple car payment. So let's say for the next 84 months, you're paying me $449 a month at 9% interest. That $449 then is my passive income.
Mm.
And then I can redeploy that capital that you paid me on the down and keep building and building and building.
Wow. Okay. So you're essentially just lending people the land until they own it.
Correct. So it's owner finance land. And then we automate that with software called geekpay.io, which does it for us. So even that is a set it and forget it system. So we collect our money, our down payment via credit card, collect our monthly payments via ACH or check. But if the check fails, our killer feature is it will hit the credit card on file. So our default rate went from 8% to 4%. And then as we get into the weeds of this, the contracts we use, one of them is a land contract, which means that the property remains in my name. I keep that asset until you pay off that note. So there's no cost of foreclosure. And if you do default, I keep your down payment, I keep your monthly payments, and I resell it to somebody else, increasing my ROI and my passive income out into the future.
Hey, Fearless Flipping community, let's hear from one of our sponsors right now. Have you thought about becoming a real estate investor, but you have no money, or maybe you just don't feel like you have the right guidance, the right system, or maybe the right plan? Well, the Phenom Investor Blueprint course is your answer, developed by seven-figure earner Matt Garabedian and a good friend of mine. Matt uses his 10-plus years of real estate investing knowledge to teach you how to get involved with real estate investing without spending a dime. Matt's wholesaling techniques will work for any market at any time. So if you want to make 6 figures, 7 figures, or more, yeah, that's right, it's possible. It's time to invest in yourself. Check out the Phenom Investor Blueprint at fearlessflipping.com/phenom. Again, that's fearlessflipping.com/phenom. This is your first step to financial freedom. fearlessflipping.com/phenom. So now I need to ask, I'm the buyer of the land. Okay. I see that 10-acre, $15,000 is what it's worth. I've only got $2,500 to put down on it. How much did you pay for that land?
$2,500.
Okay. Got it. So you're immediately got your investment back and you're cash flowing right away.
Correct.
Am I right? Okay.
Correct. I might go out 6 months, but that's about the farthest I'll go out.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty incredible. So what about capital? Where's that coming from?
So capital, when you're making 300 to 1,000%, you'll find it. In fact, I would make the argument that if you lock up any deal, 25 cents in the dollar, there's someone else on the other end of that deal. Now, we do have people, like I started with $3,000. My buddy Duran started with $800. We have people in our community that just, when I go through it, like they didn't have any money. So they would do what we call the wholesale concept. So they would essentially do a dual close or assign a contract. So you don't need a lot of money. And again, you don't need to go to private money or hard money lenders because you can buy a lot of land in this business with 10 grand to start.
Wow.
You don't really need a lot of money, but I would say that you probably have friends and family that are earning 0% on their money. So if you borrowed at 10%, you wouldn't have to use any of your own money. They'd be happy with 10%. You're happy making 290 to 990%. as the spread.
So as you got into this, obviously, you said that you had a friend of yours that kind of brought it your way, but did it get you curious about any other real estate investments?
Well, I mean, having shiny object syndrome is something where I have a mentor who helps stop me. And so I remember him saying to me, he's like, Mark, uh, remember when you were a kid and you take the magnifying glass and you try to kill an ant with the magnifying glass? I said, yeah. He's like, so what you're doing right now is you're moving the magnifying glass over 10 ants. Boom, 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 boom. You're generating a lot of heat, but you're not killing an ant. He's like, if you want to be successful, you got to kill an ant. So focus on that one ant, hold it there. And I always remember that. So I'm a inch wide and a mile deep. And I really want to just get better and better and better at land investing. And if there's anything ancillary to that, which for me might be owning a mobile home park, not the homes, but just the dirt and renting the dirt, that's the only thing that really interests me. Because again, I don't want to deal with anything physical. I like having this headache-free model. I like that it's scalable, and I like that I can automate it.
That's awesome. And relates to me so much because in a business of real estate investment where you can literally make money and it seems like a million different ways. I mean, I just was interviewing a guy named Tim Bratz earlier today, and Tim, has multi-million dollars in apartments and just makes it sound so simple. And it's like, man, I want to try that. And then I want to this land stuff, man, it's just, there's so many different ways to get into it. And so our viewers and listeners that are listening and trying to figure out what in the world they're going to do, exactly what Mark said, take one, put that magnifying glass over it, kill one ant, get really good at killing that one ant, and just keep on rolling. So,
yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with multifamily.
Oh yeah.
I've got a lot of people in my community that love it, but I would say that land investing is your gateway drug into doing these bigger deals.
Cool.
Because then you're going to have the time and the track record to do that. Because if you first start with multifamily, you could get knocked out of the game. No one wants to go BK, but with raw land, I mean, you can make a ton of mistakes and it's not going to knock you out of the game.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. The gateway drug. I like that.
Yeah.
So Mark, what about, I mean, this all sounds like so far, butterflies, unicorns, and rainbows that you just came out of the gate swinging. Did you have any road bumps? Did you have any big losses?
Well, I did, have a big loss of time. So when I made $100,000 on this one deal in Treasure Lake, Pennsylvania, but it took me 3 years of negotiating. So when I factored in my time, that was the first deal I ever broke even on. Again, it's really hard to lose when you have the discipline to buy that asset 25, 30 cents on the dollar. So even 2008, I was profitable. 2009, I was profitable. 2010, I was profitable. However, in 2010, I lost about half of my note portfolio. And I had created such a big lifestyle for myself. And I had Parkinson's law of money. So the more money I made, the more I spent. So if you're listening to this, I wrote about it in Dirt Rich, my whole story. And just this feeling of, I'm just not enough. So I keep having to feed my ego to look cool to people, like big car, big house, big vacations, kids in private school, nanny, housekeeper. And it just, I had to keep making more and more money. And I built this huge treadmill for myself. And eventually when that happened, it forced me to pare down my lifestyle and also really come to terms with, okay, well, all this stuff didn't make me happy. So what does make me happy? And you really learn when you get an ego kick in the head like that. Oh, it's all about relationships. Playing Monopoly with my kids, having coffee with my wife doesn't really cost us anything. And that's way more fulfilling and enjoyable than, trying to show off to the neighbors.
Yeah, I think we get off on this this mindset, especially guys like myself, you, probably a lot of people that are listening right now, where it's just like, hey, I made 100,000. That's not enough. Hey, I made 1,000,000. That's not enough. Hey, now I've got a mansion and a vacation home in Hawaii, but again, that's not enough. And it's just like this, what is it? Blissful dissatisfaction, like Ed Milet says, where you just get to that point where, you're celebrating the things that you're doing, but you need to still be striving for more. But I think so many of us forget to stop and celebrate and remind ourselves of why we're even doing it to begin with. And it sounds like you maybe had that moment of needing reminder of why you were doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a great reminder that I have the ability to sabotage myself and all this freedom that I created for myself just by increasing and increasing lifestyle. So now I was working for my lifestyle, not for anything else, which is no fun.
So do all of these land notes eventually run out, or are any of
Yeah, they
them?
do. So eventually they will run out. So in our example, like after 84 months, we deed over that property. Then we have to go out and buy more property. So you just want to, it's a volume sort of business in that way. And you just keep building your note portfolio, building your note portfolio. One falls out, you buy another one. You keep replenishing, you keep building, you keep replenishing.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, it's also awesome. It's also probably a lot to keep up with. I'm sure you have to have a lot of systems, maybe some people working for you that are keeping track of those things.
Yeah, I mean, we have a whole team. We have software that automates the entire process on the back end. We use geekpay.io on the front end, and then geekpay.io on the back end. And in the middle, we have intake managers. We have the team in the Philippines doing our due diligence. We pay $11 for our due diligence. Those reports, they have access to an American title company. So we get all the things that a buyer is going to want to know. We get the GIS maps, the plat maps, the aerial maps. We might have a local Craigslist gig. If it's an area we're not familiar with, go out, shoot photos and video, prepare our property checklist. What are the neighbors doing? Are there any dilapidated homes or tires out on the property? So I don't need to physically stomp on property anymore. I can certainly outsource that. And that's really, for me, one of the greatest things about this business is I can sit in front of my computer and run it, and I don't have to physically be anywhere. It's amazing.
That's awesome. And did you say earlier that you only really work on it about 2 hours a week?
Yeah, I do it 2 hours a week, having meetings with my team and looking at the numbers. So how many offers went out? How many deals are pending? How many deals will we close? How many deals will we sell? And what can we do to make it better? Like, I feel badly for my team after I've had coffee, because I might just think of something and I'll break something. They like it when I don't call.
Well,
Like, you guys think of doing this? Let's do this. So my job really as the CEO is to think and to do strategy.
That's awesome. Well, I think you've got a good book idea that can compete with Tim Ferriss, the 2-hour work week.
Exactly.
There you go.
6-minute abs.
Yeah, 7-minute abs.
Right.
I love it. All right. So, Mark, I know you've kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want you to just kind of give us a little bit more insight of what you have with this software, with the geekpay.io. What is that? How can other people utilize that too, if so?
Yeah. So if they go to geekpay.io, they can check out a demo, but essentially anyone that's getting any recurring payments, you can use it for credit card or ACH. It works really well in our business, but if you're a landlord, you could use it. If you have an equipment leasing company, you could use it. If you have an auto dealership, you can do it. So anyone that is doing any kind of financing could use the software. I mean, heck, I'm trying to get my landscapers to use it. I don't like writing them a check. And the pricing is irresistible. So if it's manually done, it's $9 a month. And if it's you want to automate it, it's only $99 a month.
Nice. That's awesome.
In our business, it's actually a profit center. It doesn't cost you any money. There's no, because in this typical business model, there's, in your servicing notes, there's a note setup fee, there's monthly fees, there's fees. I really made software that I would like to use.
That's perfect. Awesome. And then you've also got a book. You said it's Dirt Rich. Is that right?
Dirt Rich: How One Ambitiously Lazy Geek Created Passive Income in Real Estate without renters, renovations, and rehabs.
And did you say ambitious lazy?
Ambitiously lazy.
Ambitiously lazy. Is that an oxymoron?
Well, no. I mean, I'm very ambitious, but I personally don't want to do the work. So in that sense, I'm lazy.
Oh, I tell people all the time, I'm at my very core lazy. I would rather be sitting on a beach in Hawaii than working. So I'm right there with you. So where can people find that book?
Amazon.
Just Amazon. There you go.
Perfect. Or they can go to the landgeek.com, /dirt rich.
Okay, awesome. And you guys can all find this information on our show notes too, which is going to be fearlessflipping.com/land geek. That is what we've got right there for the show notes. So make sure to check that out. Last question before we let you go here. Mark, what's driving you? I mean, you've got so many people that are working for you and helping you to build this business and managing it on their own. What's driving you to keep on pushing?
Well, my clients, I mean, I had a client the other day tell me that he's spending 75% more time with his family now because he was able to quit his job. I got a Vox last night from a client. He's at over 10,000 a month after a year. And he's an attorney and he's cut back to 3 days a week. And one of those days he's going to spend with his dad, helping his dad out. And the other day he's going to do whatever he wants. So what really, really is so deeply gratifying for me is accomplishing this mission of eliminating solo economic dependency for everybody, which means that if you're personally not working, you're not making any money. And I think that once you eliminate this big bucket of money in your life, this big bucket of stress in your life, we call money, and you can really move up the chain of Maslow's hierarchy of needs to self-actualization, and you have that time and that freedom. Why am I really here? For me, that is the core motivation.
And that's awesome. So cool. And great that you're helping out people. I think that's one of the best things about real estate investing is that you have that opportunity to help a lot of people. And I know for sure today, Mark, you've helped a lot of our listeners, a lot of our viewers. Really, truly appreciate that. And again, guys, all you got to do is go to fearlessflipping.com/land geek to take the next steps on how to start investing in land. And you too can start conquering not only real estate investing, but land investing. We will see you next time. Is your mind not absolutely blown after that episode? I think that it comes down to the fact that it's the things that we don't even know about that can sometimes be the biggest hidden treasures. So I know you're going to be super excited to not only go to the show notes, which is fearlessflipping.com/land geek, but you're definitely going to want to check in with our next episode later on this week when we actually learn from step A all the way through step Z, which by the way, it's not even that many steps, on how to buy and sell land so that you too can be doing just like what Mark Podolsky has been doing, become your own version of a land geek and create both an amazing transactional and residual income in this game of buying and selling land. Pretty awesome. So make sure to check that out again, fearlessflipping.com/land geek. Until next time, conquer real estate investing. We will see you later this week.